Akzo Nobel, the chairman and managing director, Mr. Rajiv Rajgopal Johnson, right now for his sense on how is business looking like, particularly in light of the fact that we're on the cusp of, or in fact, in the midst of the festive season, and oil prices have come off. Mr. Rajgopal, good having you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us today. This is Neeraj Shah here. Good morning. Trying to gauge, sir, we were speaking to one of your peers yesterday who mentioned that despite a new, in fact, two large groups coming up in this space and making their presence felt, the growth numbers thus far haven't gotten impacted and very likely will not get too impacted in the times to come. What's your sense?
Good morning, Neeraj. Thank you for having me on your show, and good morning to you and all the viewers. First and foremost, if you look at the last quarter, I think the market was a bit tepid. If you look at our volume growths, they were in the double digits. If you look at our revenue growth, right, we had revenue growth which was also single digit, and our performance was slightly or ahead of competition, I would say. Yeah. Coming to your specific question on new players, look, I think it's a large market. You're talking of a market of 60,000 crores. And, frankly, if you were to ask me, what I see right now is that the incremental growth that was there is obviously getting shared between the various players. Yeah. That said, I think we have a very clear strategy, Neeraj. We've got a very clear strategy for each of our portfolios, whether it's in the paints, or the verticals like powder, our automotive specialty coatings, marine and protective and industrial coatings, and we stay focused on execution of our strategy.
Okay. So in which case, Mr. Rajgopal, if indeed you believe that the market is wide for everybody, and the belief was that the newer players which are coming in with these large plans may first impact not the numero uno player, but the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. I hear from you, who's a large player nevertheless, but not the number 1 player currently, saying that you do not believe there will be an impact. Let me try and ask you, what are the kind of growth rates that you envisage, considering that we are entering a busy construction and a festive season, let's say for the next couple of quarters, then we'll get to the longer term picture.
So look, Neeraj, what I've always been saying is that in this fiscal, we are targeting and we should be on way of delivering a double-digit volume growth. I stick to that, because, on a month-by-month, quarter-by-quarter, sometimes you'll have certain vagaries. Like in the month of August, we had inclement weather, which still, many parts of the country, it's still raining. And obviously that impacts the exterior and some of the other categories. And hence on the paint side, very difficult exactly to say, how it will pan. But yes, I think we are looking at still a double-digit volume growth, and that will obviously at a point in time, the value growth is following the volume growth primarily because of the price drop the industry took between December and January of about 4.5%. While we've taken some slight price increases in the last 2 months, it's obviously still not compensating the drop that we've had. Yeah. So to answer your question, look, I think for us, the reason we believe that we can still do it is because we believe that the value of Dulux in the paints is all about being international, best-in-class quality, right? Is also about innovation, and it's about color expertise. We believe that we've got a unique proposition in each one of this, which is slightly different from the rest of the industry. And if you look at our share, our market share in premium is significantly higher than our overall market share. So we've got approximately about a 15-16% market share in premium alone, right? And I'm talking only margins, right? So if you really look at it, that has been our strength. The fact that we are a premium quality brand. So really, when a new player enters, typically what we've seen is it's in the mass and the economy where it is. We are also playing in those segments, but we have significantly lower share for us. So hence a little less to lose in that matter. That said, look, it's very difficult to predict. As I said, we are focused. We've got a very focused strategy. We are building our digital ecosystem significantly. We are looking at inefficiencies in the system. Our endeavor is to make sure as a challenger brand that we stay competitive. We are going to remain very competitive. And like you said, in the festive season, we've just launched a paint for the top end consumers, for the most discerning consumers like many of yourselves, called Dulux Velvet Touch Eterna. And we've seen a fantastic response in the few weeks that have gone by. So we are focused in our exterior portfolio, Weather Shield. We've just recently launched and dust proof. Again, which comes with a unique proposition. Look, when we launch a paint with a proposition, I'm sure if you speak to dealers, Neeraj, dealers will tell you that we are significantly best in quality. So that's been our moat. We want to continue that. We want to make sure that whatever we do it in a, with the stamp of quality, and that's where we are really focused on.
Mr. Rajgopal, very good morning. Tamanna here. Just
Good
wanted
morning.
to, yeah, great to speak with you. Just wanted to understand your outlook to what has been happening with crude. And we've seen a bit of a bounce back overnight, but crude price is largely trending lower, and that's now been for a few months. How much is it helping you in terms of margins? And do you see that trend continuing even as you've already taken a price hike?
So Tamanna, it's an interesting question. There are two parts to it. Look, in the paint pricing, there are two elements that drive the pricing. One is crude, and the other is the foreign exchange, right? The forex, the currency volatility. So if you look at the currency side, which very few people talk about, right? Still against the dollar, if you look at the rupee, it is, we still have some way to go. I wouldn't say the rupee is very strong. It has been in a range, but that's been, if you take over a year period, it had sort of moved up, and that's been one challenge for players like us. The second, as far as crude is concerned, we've seen a little bit of a downswing in the last few weeks. Now, all of us carry inventory. We are entering season, so obviously we've got to be a little careful. What I would expect is that you would start seeing a margin accretive more towards Q4 and early Q1 if the trend were to continue. The reason I'm a little circumspect is, Tamanna, is there are so many things happening in the world around us which are a little uncontrollable. The Middle East geopolitics, there are a lot of other variables that come in. So I think we need to sort of take a bit of a pause, look at, not get too carried away by daily, monthly trends, and see how it's really going to last. And, then start looking at strategic decisions on pricing, etc. So at this point of time, we believe, yes, I would use the word that it has become a little more stable. I wouldn't use the word that it has dramatically dropped, unless we see, for other reasons, certain larger economies not really bouncing back, etc. Then we believe that, look, in the next quarter and more in the first quarter, the fourth quarter of the year fiscal, we believe that you would start seeing it accretive to the P&L.
To what extent, Mr. Rajgopal, even till Q4?
So I would say, look, normally one should expect between a 2% at a weighted level, because some of these foods account for 30 to 40%, right? Assuming that the currency, the rupee, is also in the same range. If the rupee strengthens, which all of us are hopeful of, then there would be further positives.
Okay, so what is the margin outlook overall? So crude is one part of that picture. Your margins in Q1 are about 16.3%. So you're looking at this range for most of the fiscal.
Yeah, so another two parts that you've got to look at. If, for a challenger brand, a 16% tells you the sort of business that we run. It's a very high performing business. It's a very premium business, right? So for me, I would like to be in the range. For me right now, if I'm in that range of 16%, I think I'm fine. I think for us right now, it's being competitive, making sure that we continue to grow and be in the top two in terms of growth, which we've now demonstrated for, I think, more than 2 years. So I think that's the focus, and using the blend of our paints and coating businesses to drive a higher performance, drive much better customer satisfaction, come out with innovative products, and try and make sure that we win the hearts of the customers in India. That's really the focus, Tamanna.
Okay. So much more to talk to you about, Mr. Rajgopal, but maybe a longer chat down the line. Great to speak with you and check in on the margins outlook, crude prices, and a lot more. That was Akzo Nobel.